Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
So good evening and assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to the live real talk. My name is Kassim, and tonight we'll be talking about the state of the nation, what has been happening and making the news all over the week. Of course, starting by the rumor that was confirmed finally, that is footballer McDonald Mariga Wanyama actually being confirmed as the Jubilee candidate for the Kibra by-election. Of course, something else that has been hitting the airwaves, of course, this week has been the Mau evictions. And last but not least, we'll be looking at the whistleblower finally on the spot. I'm talking about the Nairobi governor, His Excellency Mike Mbuvi Sonko, who faced an 8-hour-long grill at the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission on an allegation of 20 million garbage deal. Of course, a company that had tendered up to 357 million said that out of that, 20 million was seen, quote unquote, as per the detectives, had passed through His Excellency's proxy's account. Anyway, more on that, that and more of other discussions will be on the live real talk. And joining me this evening to discuss about these topics, we have from my far end, Kuria, Organizing Secretary, Movement for Advancement of Democracy. Karibu sana.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure to have you on board.
Pleasure too.
And of course, for the first time, I'm hosting this gentleman. His name is Sheriff Waithaka, a lawyer, a legal mind, a very opinionated leader. Welcome, brother.
Thank you.
Karibuni sana. Gentlemen, the rumor that was finally confirmed on Monday, McDonald Mariga Wanyama, out of 15 candidates, out of 15 candidates who had shown interest to participate in the Kibra by-election with the Jubilee ticket, McDonald Mariga was confirmed. I mean, what's your take on that, Said?
Of course, it was confirmed Mariga will fly the Jubilee flag in
yes.
Kibra by-election. And to me, the Jubilee House is trying to put its acts together. They are trying to put its house in order. You remember there are complaints that it did not field a candidate in Embakasi South by-election.
Yes.
And in some constituencies in
Wajir. Wajir East. In the spirit of the handshake, of course.
In the spirit
and nonetheless, just to add the spanner in the to throw the spanner in the works, Nairobi Senator Honorable Johnson Sakaja at the late Ken Okoth's funeral actually said that he would plead with the president for the Jubilee Party not to field a candidate in the Kibra by-election.
But I believe Jubilee, that is akin of micromanaging Jubilee House, because Jubilee House doesn't belong. If you look currently, we have two functions of Jubilee. There are those allied to the deputy president.
That is something that's actually clearly coming out now. But again, nonetheless, the majority leader, Honorable Adan Duale, has come out strongly to oppose that time and time again.
But you don't need to have a PhD in political science to note that. Of course, we have seen people having different opinions in different matters. For example, we have two MPs from Jubilee who have said they campaign for ODM candidates, or the ODM candidate will be nominated by ODM.
Interesting.
And on the other side, we have Jubilee MPs who actually are the supporters of the Deputy President William Ruto, who have thrown their weight behind McDonald Mariga.
Yes.
So Jubilee, and it seems there are those who think the handshake is everything. They can, and they think now we are united. But there are those who feel that handshake did not include everyone.
Okay.
We expected a hug, but this hug is excluding some people.
Okay.
And if you look at particularly those allied to the deputy president.
Deputy president, yeah. They feel they have been outlined.
And they are justified to do so, because in few instances we have seen that some MPs from those who are supporting handshake have not only supported handshake, they have gone ahead to insult the deputy president. Some saying he's not even fit for leadership.
Talk about Kieleweke.
Yes, Kieleweke function.
Which is opposing actually the Tanga movement.
The Tanga
okay,
movement.
so we will get to that. Mr. Sheriff Waithaka, do you think McDonald Mariga, coming from a total different career, will make it or stands a chance to clinch the seat on November 7th election in Kibra?
By the fact that he has resources, he'll be able to. But let me start this point by saying that I do not believe in the candidature of McDonald Mariga. The first thing is because the procedure of getting him. I can say that Jubilee does not have a candidate till now, procedure-wise. Why? Because even if parties are allowed to conduct direct nominations of candidates, it is allowed to do so on the basis of trust that the political party is going to follow tenets of transparency and accountability to the party members, to the members of the Jubilee Party. We just saw a process that was very flawed. We just saw a person going to get the certificate from the Jubilee Party. Everyone should have gotten the chance to go through a nomination, or if at all there was a direct nomination, at least there should have been some guidelines that would have been put to say why we are choosing McDonald Mariga.
Of course, these are sentiments that was shared by Lee Kinyanjui, who was one of the aspirants who had shown interest to vie for the Kibra by-election on a Jubilee ticket. Nonetheless, the party came out strongly to defend their move, saying that they conducted interviews based on the party tenets, the party's vision, their vision, the aspirant's vision for the constituency and the constituents at large, and that is amongst many other questions. And that is how they arrived at the decision that McDonald Mariga will be the flag bearer.
I disagree with my friend Sheriff, because what he is saying is underwater. If you see, yesterday, all aspirants came together, led by Dr. Boni Khalwale, and they agreed to support McDonald Mariga. If we had issues with the aspirants who are contesting or who are seeking Jubilee ticket, at least we would have said Mariga was imposed on Jubilee supporters. But at least now we saw there was an agreement that we believe Mariga is the best suited person to fly Jubilee ticket.
So you feel as well Mariga is the best suited to fly the Jubilee ticket?
I believe he is best suited because all other candidates believed in him. No one was left out.
Which other candidate, to be precise?
Those aspirants who were out to seek the Jubilee ticket, they shelved their ambitions to support Mariga. And so there was no need of conducting nominations.
But on Wednesday, a group by Lee Kinyanjui, Ramadan Hussein, amongst other aspirants came out strongly. But they were given
a chance to go
and appeal.
And have consensus on the issue. And those who turned out agreed that their candidate is McDonald Mariga.
But you see, the situation that you're putting us in and the conversation that you're bringing in here is the situation that we found ourselves in 2017 when we had to repeat nominations. And when we were also nominating MCAs in the county assemblies. I do remember that especially in Nyeri County and the Mount Kenya region, the Jubilee regions, you would find situations where a list would be taken out and somebody's girlfriend was taken in. That is the same culture that we are bringing in here. Some of these processes should take the public should be involved. All members of Jubilee should be involved. We are adopting policies that are adopted by ODM. We find situations where you can remember back in 2017 when we were doing the elections, you would find people complaining in Western and in Luo Nyanza. You would find people complaining that a candidate has been imposed on them. If at all you are going to do a direct nomination, at least it should be open in such a way the public is allowed to do that. Anyway, we have been imposed a candidate. The fact that a few politicians have gone to the media and accepted him does not mean everyone in Jubilee. I'm a member of Jubilee Party. I have not accepted him as my candidate. One, ideologically speaking, and speaking about the person and his history in this country. Yeah, so that one was very unfair to the other candidates. Not all candidates have agreed to the same, and I would say that this is a very bad thing, seeing that we are going to have elections. We are going to have Jubilee nominations in coming years. About 2 years from now, we're going to come to an election.
Nonetheless, Mr. Sheriff, just to further your complaints is that some members from the Kilaweke, Moses Kuria included, minor commander who's former Kamukuju legislature, from Jubilee, they have vowed to campaign for the ODM ticket if Mariga would not be led to continue with his football career. Actually, in a tweet by Moses Kuria, directed at the deputy president, says that wacha Mariga acheze mpira, let the people of Kibra decide.
I think Maina Commander, I can call them people who are disgruntled in the party. And this complaint started immediately he lost elections in the previous election. And I believe if he had good interest of the Jubilee, he would have taken part in the process of nominating candidates. But saying that he support ODM candidate, the candidate will be nominated by ODM, that means he doesn't have interest.
He's not the only one. There are Jubilee candidates who are campaigning for the ODM
we have people like Moses,
ahead of the nominations tomorrow.
We have people like Moses Kuria. We have people who have said they campaign for ODM.
That's what I'm saying. There are people who are campaigning for some ODM aspirants, not even candidates, aspirants ahead of the nominations tomorrow.
Of course, if you are loyal to the party, you are supposed to stick to the party. You are supposed to support the party, and this means if a party feels its candidate, you are supposed to give him support. That is what we expected of Commander. But Commander seems he thinks the handshakes is
Are you
everything.
contradicting yourself? Because clearly you just said initially that the Jubilee has two main functions. That is the Tanga Tanga and the Kieleweke. Okay? One who are aligned to the deputy president and the other one who are trying to align themselves to the president of this nation.
I believe Jubilee, as it stands, it is under control of Deputy President William Ruto. And Commander, people like Commander, Moses Kuria, and all those who have come out to say that they support ODM candidate, feel they cannot control Jubilee. Therefore, they are showing their displeasure by supporting the opponent of Jubilee. That is what they are actually doing.
So they are voting in rebellion, that's what I'm saying.
Of course.
Sheriff.
I do remember that before McDonald declared that he was going to be a candidate, His Excellency William Ruto did post a tweet, I can't remember when exactly, saying that Jubilee had to have a candidate in Kibra. It has to field a candidate to Kibra. And I remember the dailies did post that it was a war between William Ruto and Raila to make sure that at least Jubilee, it was a war between two individuals, Jubilee and ODM, Ruto and Raila. It is being taken that the Kibra constituency elections are going to show who between Ruto and Raila has more control. And we are also going to, we are getting to some very bad times for democracy in this country, where some of these things are done as a sign of desperation of an individual trying to prove himself to some 2 or 3 people. And that is why we had direct nominations which were not transparent, and the people who did the direct nominations were not accountable to anyone. And you cannot say that members of Jubilee Party were disgruntled, or that members of Jubilee Party, there is a half of Jubilee Party and the other half. We have leadership of the party. We have the executive. We have a secretary general. We have a chair. We have the party. We have the party leader, yes. His Excellency Muigai Kenyatta. And as such, we do expect unity. And so a move that is causing more and more division in the party should actually be fought. Yeah.
Thank you. Just before we continue, I mean, we are being joined by one of our panelists who was supposed to have joined us a long time ago. The man, like other politicians, who has the same name twice. Apiyoh, JF Apiyoh.
Yes.
This is the youth leader, national youth leader of the Third Way Alliance.
Absolutely.
A man that we've spoken so much on phone, but we've never been lucky enough to meet. So, Mr. Said, your kiti imekuwa mheshimiwa ya Apiyoh. So, I would really love if you guys... Ama tuache hivyo hivyo. No problem. Mheshimiwa amekupatia ruhusa. Interesting enough, Salim, you brought out a very contingent issue for as far as the nomination is concerned. This is Raila's bedrock of politics.
Yeah.
That is, you're talking about Kibra. And Deputy President William Ruto, ANC leader, that is Amani National Congress leader Musalia Mudavadi, have vowed to come out strongly and give Raila Amolo Odinga a run for his money.
No.
You spoke about the direct nomination, and we saw the thing that it happened in Ugenya when the ODM tried to nominate someone directly. So, for the first time, they have to go against the quote-unquote tradition. If you see, and Lois Laboso died, and the direct nomination was given to the late Joyce Laboso. Same happened to Juma Boy Juma and Kwale, the senator, and the direct nomination given to the brother to succeed in the by-election. Same happened in Takaba. Same happened in a number of places. It happened. But this time, the brother of the late Ken Okoth, Bernard Otieno Okoth, popularly known as Imran, has come out, but still ODM is adamant on conducting a free and fair election. Do you trust this process, Said? Do you think it's going to be free and fair?
We cannot second guess for the process, but I believe they have good intentions in conducting primaries. Because if you look, when the former Prime Minister Raila Amolo Odinga went to Kibera, and candidates were given a chance to address supporters, of course, you saw very well that people reacted differently to different candidates. And actually, the Imran Okoth, the brother to late Ken Okoth, was booed. So that means it is necessary for ODM to carry primaries to determine who is popular among all those aspirants who have shown interest. And that is why I'm differing with the sheriff. Actually, Jubilee did not give direct nomination. Jubilee invited other aspirants
and conducted interviews.
And
that Mariga scored 85%.
At the end of the process, other aspirants agreed to support Mariga. But in the case of ODM, all want this beautiful girl called ODM. So they have to conduct primaries, and we believe the process, we hope the process will be good.
Interesting.
But
you hope.
If you look at the history
yes.
of ODM, nominations in ODM have always raised concerns because maybe some people are rigged, unpopular candidates end up being rigged, and to some point, supporters have felt that, and that is what led to the loss of the Ugenya seat. So we hope this time ODM will put its act together and select the right candidate.
Apiyoh, JF Apiyoh, we are looking at 3-horse race for as far as Kibra by-election is concerned. We are looking at Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga. We are looking at His Excellency William Samoei Ruto and Musalia Mudavadi. Who do you think stands a chance?
No, I think it's early first to maybe come up with a conclusion, probably on who will win this election, because there are a number of dynamics in this race. And to start with the ODM, you look at the past 7 by-elections that they have so far so good. They have been focusing themselves on probably highlighting and picking a candidate to be one of its flag bearers. But if you look at how they have been losing those elections, I think this time round, the wise people said once bitten, twice shy.
Sure.
And probably this time round, they have opted to have primaries that would show, or that would expand, or that would give an indication that democracy in this party is actually increasing ahead of 2022 elections. Because, you know, if you highlight how they lost even in Ugenya, in Bakassi South, majority of Kenyans, so majority of its supporters or in democratic movement believes that the party had picked, and therefore there was no democracy, and therefore wherever who won, or whatever who won elections in those constituencies, was a protest vote from ODM supporters in those constituencies.
So you feel this is a litmus test for the Orange Democratic Movement?
Absolutely, and it will be very difficult for them, that I can tell you, as far as ground is concerned, because there are a number of dynamics. If you look at a candidate Jubilee has fronted, somebody who is a celebrity, he is a youth, you cannot outplay those factors. To me, even in ODM primaries, they have to ensure that the person that will come there would, number one, cancel the advantages that the Jubilee candidate is having. And as well, they have to factor in that Eliud Owalo is quite an experienced politician who has been in ODM, knows ODM tricks, and knows everything about ODM.
And vied for the Kibra parliamentary seat at least twice without success.
In fact, he's the most popular candidate at the grassroots. He's the most popular candidate. He had contested, I think so. He had contested there. So for me, I think it is too early to show. It will depend with somebody that ODM, who will be winning ODM ticket tomorrow. That will change a lot of narrative about who is going to win this election.
And
But
you're
as we
positive
speak-
that the ODM primary is going to be, of course, free and fair, gentlemen, right?
Yeah.
Exactly, and that's how we call it a wrap right here. The first segment of Live Real Talk. I've been your host, Faisal Kassim. Please do not go away because we are going to be back. Punguza Mzigo Bill scored his first win in Uasin Gishu, quote-unquote, first win in Uasin Gishu. I don't know whether there have been others before that. Let's know that after the break.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation. On the next episode,
mashindano ambayo kwamba tunafaa tufanye ni ya kumtii Allah. Umeona mashallah rafiki yako anaswali vizuri amekithirisha, wewe inuka usiku. Mnashindana katika khairi, anafunga Alhamis na Ijumaa, wewe ayamul bidhi zifunge. Rafiki yako kila siku anasoma juzu moja ya Qur'an, wewe soma juzu 2 3. Hii ndio challenge ambazo kwamba tofaa, si challenge ambazo kwamba ni dhambi. Amekunywa taska chupa pili, wacha mimi nichape 5. Hii si challenge hii.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Yes, Suleiman Nachasa of Tumbo, my director and producer this evening. Thank you so much, Asante Sana, for the count. Gentlemen, we were talking about the Kibra by-election, and of course we said that the nomination tomorrow will play a key role in determining who will clinch the seat on the November 7th. And of course, the ODM, the one in charge of elections and nominations, that is Honorable Judy Pereno, has come out clearly more than once to say and state and clear that there is no preferred candidate and everyone will have to face the ballot. Of course, there were rumors that some candidates were preferred and given, they already have the certificate rather. You know, even Raila himself, right, Honorable Raila Odinga, had to come out clearly and address that concern and say that no one has been given the certificate yet. So the gentleman will have to face the ballot. Gentlemen, before we look at the Punguza Mzigo scoring its first win at the Uasin Gishu County, the whistleblower finally on the spot. Honorable Mike Mbovi was grilled, an 8-hour grill at the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. Often than not, he has been the one blowing whistles on corruption cases and telling and saying such and such is corrupt, such and such is corrupt. This time, knocking on his door. And after the 8-hour grill, he still came out and said that he was innocent. What do you think of that? Do we have a clean leader in this nation?
First of all, I tell you, I usually tell you that leaders are a reflection of the society. These leaders don't come from space. It is us people who elect these people in positions of leadership. And most of the times you'll see that leaders, of course, who bribe, who can organize violence, who are good in tactics, of course, that are not supposed to, that are not fair, are the leaders who win these elections. And I believe we should not complain a lot about our leaders, because after every 5 years we are given a chance to elect leaders. But on the issue of Sonko said very well that if he is found culpable, he'll step down. And you're giving him a benefit of doubt. Because he has never been found with such an issue. So if he lives to his word and steps down, of course that is showing good leadership.
Of course, we've been waiting for a deputy governor for like, how many months now? 19?
And he assured that he'll
19 months?
yes, 19 months, which I think it is not a good thing because,
Yes.
for example, in such a situation, if he is found culpable, who will of course act as a governor.
I guess that's where the county crisis comes in. Yes, Salif Sharif, maybe your 2 cents on that as well.
I'd like to say that some of these leaders have been able to successfully hide their wrongs. And some of them are truly innocent and some of them are truly corrupt. And that is the situation we have in this country. And I'd like to say one thing. You see, as people continue to get into leadership, they continue to find, in Kenya, the Kenya situation is that people continue to find better ways of hiding their loot and hiding the process of getting the loot. So you find that some of the areas that are very easy to steal from garbage, because anyway, how can you audit whether garbage was collected? Independence and institutional strength, making a whole
Supremacy battle.
Supremacy battles.
In other words, yeah.
But you saw institutional independence at work. In this country, you find that we have the DCI, we have the EACC, we have all these institutions, and they are not strong enough. One, they do not have political backing, and somebody can just make 3-4 calls, and things will be sorted out from on his side. So that we can know the truth about some of these things, because people are really smart. When people are stealing, they are really smart about hiding it. Only one has been seen recently, not being as such. But we need investigators who are really independent, who can show us some of these things that happen when Kenyans do not know. Because you saw a politician go live, and it has been trending on social media, saying that one governor was a saint, and the other, when things are revealed, we're going to find that Governor Kidero is going to be a saint and Sonko is not. Those are the words of Minor Commander.
Yes.
What I'd like to say is that so that Kenyans can know the truth of what is happening, probably things are worse than we know, and probably things are better than we see on the media. But we need investigators who can really be trusted, that when EACC makes a statement or the DCI makes a statement, can really be trusted. So that is the only salvation that the Kenyans have.
In a third world growing country that is well much engrossed in corruption, how real is that? How achievable can that be? JF?
It's achievable, but me, I would want to comment one thing about the Sonko issue or the impasse we have. Number one, the country knows, and Nairobi knows, that Sonko is one of the most shrewd politicians we have on land today, and is one of the most successful politicians in Nairobi for the past 1 decade. Sonko has never lost an election. And therefore, anything that is happening at City Hall as we speak, people might take it like Sonko is giving us an impression that he's that good leader. He wants to adhere to Chapter 6 of the Constitution, that whether the allegations or name about corruption, then he should be stepping down. In my own way, or in my own thinking, I think that is a gimmick. Whatever is happening at City Hall, for me, is that Sonko wants to show the public that he is that good leader that may be following the Constitution. And if you look at even the list of nominees that he presented to Nairobi County Assembly this evening, that he wants vetted and given positions, even his wife is included in that list. I think you've seen it. Just look at how that person, controversial and a very funny person, he knows very well that there is even chances that the Assembly will not commit and accept or adopt that list. He's ready for that. So for me, I think everything that is happening about City Hall and Sonko, there is no reality, there is no sincerity, and it is a gimmick that is being played there.
Fair enough. I think we'll have to leave it at that. Let's look at one more slide before we go on a very short break again. Punguza Mzigo scores its first win in Uasin Gishu County, of course, after a lot of mixed reactions from different member of county assemblies across the country that they have traversed. I think you already have the country by now?
Yeah, we are in our 26th county assembly.
26th county at this point, and one win from the Uasin Gishu County out of the 26 counties that they've visited. 25 of them said no. Or rather, they haven't made their decision.
Exactly.
They haven't made their decision.
Exactly.
Yes. At the same time, we're looking at the Punguza Mzigo, the consortium of civil rights, coming out and saying that this was not fair enough. The stakeholder engagement was not conducted in a fair manner that our key stakeholders were not involved in this? And we're expecting the report mid-next month?
I want to comment about Punguza Mizigo thing. Punguza Mizigo, when
it's a bill, not a deal.
Bill, it's a bill. I'll say the thing.
It's not a deal. It's not a deal. It's a bill.
Punguza Mizigo bill. When 2019, of course, we know we have interested party in this part.
A very
so we must approach the matter cautiously or with moderation. So when Aukot said that he will collect signatures, together with my friend Apiyoh, some people ridiculed Aukot and they said that he cannot manage to collect million signatures. One is Sifuna. Sifuna was very sarcastic about the whole thing.
Very vocal and coming out. Yes. I mean, actually, he said that he'd resign.
Yes, he said that he resigned.
I think he challenged your Secretary General, Mr. Okongo, on a live interview together.
Yes.
Okango.
Yes,
that he'll
1 million
resign
signatures.
The same people. And that is why I say these people who support BBI are not honest. The same people are campaigning against Punguza Mizigo. We have seen Sabina Chege saying that this bill is not good for.
And Embrace.
The leader of team Embrace. It means they thought these people could not achieve what they did not want them to achieve. But now they have achieved. Now they want, and I believe we are in a democratic country. Everyone should be given a chance to express his opinions. If he has an issue, he can bring it. And I was very saddened by the parliament when some members of parliament, especially those who support BBI, started saying that they will use a loophole in constitution not to bring the bill in parliament. That is unfortunate. That means that they abdicate their responsibility.
But the whole bill is actually
presenting this bill to the
system,
House,
isn't it?
Sorry?
The bill is bypassing, and the route you guys have taken is bypassing the parliamentary system.
No, as we are opposed to parliamentary system.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's bypassing the parliamentary system.
Absolutely.
That's why you've gone down to the Monanchi, you've gone to the MCAs, right? Yeah.
Through popular initiative.
Parliament is mischievous. And they knew, of course, these leaders, they have sense of entitlement. They cannot support something unless
it favors them.
It favors them.
Or
it comes from them. And we still have a group at the top, their leaders, who believe that they are the people to give instructions to leaders on what this country needs or what this country should take. We have seen in the past that these two principles, the principles of handshake, they impose decisions on their parliamentarians. Then parliamentarians come to us to impose the decisions on us, which is wrong.
To say something.
Which is wrong.
Burning to say something. I can see from his face.
One thing I want to ask the members of parliament is which loophole? Do they have another constitution than the one that I have in my phone right here? I would like them to read them for me. I've been in law school for quite some time, so I want them to teach me some constitutional law that I don't understand.
Interesting.
Now, about the Punguza Mizigo initiative, have engaged with his Secretary General, and he's also my friend, and I do understand the whole bill. But this whole referendum debate is, to me, not necessary. I would first say that Punguza Mizigo is a political tool that is being used by a person who vied for presidency in 2017, to me. That is my opinion. Because I do believe that in this country we have a constitution and it is working as it is. And the only problem that I find in the constitution, and it's something that is repeated every day on the newspapers, every day, even when you are reading the news, it's an issue, it's the issue of corruption and leadership in this country. That is the only thing that we need to do a referendum for. That is the only thing that we need to change in this country. The type of leaders that we get. Because I remember Koigi Wamwere some time ago said that even if we paint the monkeys gray or paint them red, the forest, whether you change the forest or anything, the monkeys are still the same, whether they paint themselves or they don't. Whatever form. Because about this referendum issue, we are deliberating on form instead of substance. Yeah, most of the times we are finding ourselves saying that, oh, we need to change the constitution, so whatever. And when we launched the constitution in 2010 and promulgated it, it was accorded with so much respect. Some people used to say that the constitution is one of the best in the world, and
well, one of the most progressive and all that. And this is where I'd like to bring the person of interest in this conversation. As you're addressing that, please just look at this other concern as well. The whole issue about Punguza Mzigo. As he said, this issue, we're looking at the only problem is corruption. Instead of bringing the whole issue of major constitutional amendments, why wouldn't you tackle from the outside looking in the matter of corruption first and look at strengthening the institutions and what have you? Very first.
I think in terms of corruption that you're speaking about, Punguza Mizigo bill entails around 16 points. And I think our number 10th point in that bill speaks about how we want to strengthen Chapter 6 of the Constitution and how we want to fight corruption and the measures that we are putting in place.
Because I mean, you're just looking at 9 years since.
We have placed everything, and it is elaborate and it's everywhere. As what we are proposing about corruption is very simple. Number one, we are saying that we are supposed to adopt all reports from Auditor General to be used in court to prosecute people that we believe are probably corrupt or allegations of corruption.
What's stopping the nation from doing that now?
It's not in the Constitution. It's not the Constitution. You have to follow. You have to follow through lawyers, through what. Number two, we are also proposing that anyone that is mentioned adversely in the corruption allegation issues is supposed to be stepping aside. Those are some of the things we are proposing.
And where does
as far as corruption is concerned.
And where does the concept of innocent until proven guilty comes in that?
So long as they are cleared by courts. If court says that they are not guilty, they're supposed to be left free.
How does he or she compensate for the time lost when he stepped aside?
There will be no time lost, because what we are saying is that let us take 30 days to prosecute these cases and 15 days for appeal. It is possible. It is happening in other countries. But I want to say something about Punguza Mizigo bill. Just short.
Yes.
Everyone has got a constitutional right to have or advocate for constitutional amendment. And there are only two ways as provided in the Constitution. It knows that through the popular initiative and through parliamentary system. You get it?
Yeah.
And us as third way lands, knowing very well we didn't have numbers in any of the assemblies in Parliament, we followed the popular initiative. Therefore, someone who is saying that amendment of the Constitution is not timely as we speak, I think that person is speaking out of ignorance, because there is no time line that is enlisted in the Constitution that amendments should be done at this time, at this juncture. So our bill is one of the best bills, I believe so, in this country. And you know that our party leader was the CEO of the 2010 promulgated Constitution. Yes. And he himself said that even if they were passing that Constitution, that is a recommendation they give, a warning, it will come with cost. And that is the cost that we're trying to fight through these constitutional amendments, because we've realized that the Constitution that came in 2010 had got a lot of burden to Njiko, from ballooning wage bill and everything.
If you can just hold it there, and that's how we're going to wrap up this second segment of the show. And do not go away, because we are going to be back. Mao eviction, political or genuine? Let's talk about that after the break.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation. On the next episode,
fadhila ya Ashura. Fadhila ya kufunga, kando tuna kufunga siku ya Ashura peke yake. Mtume sallallahu alaihi wasallam katika hadithi ya Abi Huraira anasema afdalu siyami ba'da ramadhana shahrullahi almuharram. Saumu iliyo bora zaidi mtu kufunga baada ya kufunga saumu ya Ramadhan, basi ni kufunga katika huu mwezi wa Muharram. Na mtume akanasibisha akasema shahrullahi almuharram, mwezi wa Allah ambaye ni Muharram. Muharram ina maana ni utukufu.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Welcome back to the third and unfortunately the last segment of the live real talk, where we are looking at the state of the nation, some of the things that have been making headlines this whole week. We looked at the declaration of MacDonald Mariga Wanyama as the flag bearer of the Jubilee candidate, the by-election, Kibra by-election, set for November 7th. We looked at Punguza Mzigo winning his first win out of the 26 counties they have visited so far. Uasin Gishu County finally adopted. Of course, that is being reported by the leader of minority from the Uasin Gishu County, Honorable Ali. And we've also looked at Nairobi Governor Mike Mbuvi Sonko. Of course, this has been the whistleblower for a very long time, this time on his doorstep. Last but not least on our show tonight, something that has sparked reactions. Some people are empathetic, sympathetic, others are victorious. So the question we're asking is it political or it's all about conservation? Salim Sharif, Mr. Sharif, you know about the mob evictions. The second phase ongoing right now. What's your take on that?
As much as we need to protect the environment and the water catchment for the East African region, I think it is also better and it is also good to protect human rights and to protect people and their dignity. And I'd like to say that we have laws saying that before you do an eviction, you should have a plan to compensate the people, to move them somewhere else, because most of these people did not move to Mau Forest out of ignorance. They did not move to Mau Forest not knowing the environmental implications. They went there out of desperation. Most of these people did not have anywhere else to go. When you find that a place does have schools, they have social amenities that they've already set up, these are people whose livelihoods are there in those places. But also recognizing the environmental impacts of that water catchment. It is the largest water catchment we have. And we also have people in other places. Mount Kenya, we also have the Nyandarua places and everything, Abadeas and all of these water catchment areas. What needs to happen is that there needs to be a good strategy. There's no need for war between citizens of the same country. This process should be taken slowly, it should be taken legally, and there should be a procedure that's followed, so that we do not have people who have gotten their livelihoods slapped away from them within a minute. Because where are you taking these people? You're telling them to go away. Where do you want them to go? Students are opening school. They already did open school. We are going to have Kenya, KCSE and KCP coming in the next 1 month or so. The livelihoods of these people will really be affected. The lives of these people will really be affected. So considering that, I think this move should be taken cautiously. And I do remember that Uhuru Kenyatta, this issue is not new, as we know. I think it was before he vied for presidency. And he used to have this philosophy that as much as we need to protect the environment, we also need to respect people's lives. So this process should be taken with the caution that it actually deserves.
Interesting. Thank you so much. Said, this is something that you're so passionate about, of course.
Of course, and I support my friend, what my friend has said. We believe that this water catchment areas should be, of course, conserved. But we must also consider the lives of the people who are living in that area. And I believe there is political aspect of this matter, because it is being done as if the government is fighting with the people who are settled in this area. These people did not settle themselves there. They were settled by the same government. Some have title deeds, some have allotment letters. And even if they have nothing, we must consider that these people have human rights. These people, some have built schools, some had hospitals in these areas. So their lives are dependent upon these amenities. And some even sold land. People are advancing the argument that these people had come from somewhere. But some sold their land and went to buy land from these forest areas. And they actually did that believing that they are getting genuine titles. And they are getting it from the government. So the same government should not act as if it is very innocent in this issue. The same government that settled these people is the same government that is uprooting these people in these areas. So we should respect human rights, and we should be considerate. And every time Mao issue is mentioned, there is people tend to view it politically, because the way these people conduct this issue, they conduct it with a political mind. Maybe they want to antagonize some communities, because that is what is happening. We have seen Maasai leaders and Kipsigis leaders pointing fingers at each other. Because some people maybe somewhere want to achieve a particular political goal, and that is not the way to go. We should know that we have forests to protect and we have peoples to protect.
Thank you so much. People's dignity, of course.
I think from my two brothers, what they have said, I concur with them. Maybe what I might add is one, that the process or the idea of evicting people from Mau Forest was a noble idea by government until such a time politicians hijacked it. And I think when politicians hijacked it, some of them are using it for political gains and political negotiations. I think on my side, what I would recommend, on top of what my two brothers have said, around 2 years ago, 3 years ago, there was a task force that was formed by government. It comprises of politicians, parliamentarians actually, and professionals and environmentalists. The task force came up with a compiled data and information that was supposed to be implemented. If the government is sincere that they want to at least restore this land, then I think, in my opinion, they should look for this report, bring it back to Parliament, let it be revised, let it get adopted, and above all, let it be implemented. Because even in that report, according to the information that was in the public domain, there was supposed to be compensation for people that had real title deeds. And it is not the government that was supposed to actually compensate them. There were agencies mandated that, and there were agencies that were outside the country, the foreign agencies that were supposed to compensate people that were being evicted. So, in short, let the government implement the findings of the task force that was formed around 2 to 3 years ago about how they're going to handle the Mau issue, and let them implement the task force findings into its entirety.
Interesting. Thank you so much. Thanks so much, gentlemen, for making time to be here with us this evening. And my final bus fare to Slumberland this evening, I'm going to tell you, is a quote, very inspirational. Learn from yesterday, live for today, and hope for tomorrow. Thank you so much for keeping me company this evening. Let's meet next week, same place, same time. Of course, I've been your host, Kassim, and this has been an amazing, gentlemen, it's been an amazing discussion. So tomorrow, ODM, wanamenyana wanaume, kwa ballot, alafu tuangalie vile kutaenda. Ama namna gani? Guys, that's how we wrap it up right here on the live Real Talk on Horizon TV. I've been your host, Kassim. Masalam. Tunani.